Kenzie Johnston with Livestock Digital Daily, bringing you your December 9th cattle industry headlines. Brought to you by Ag Risk Advisors. They help you manage your risk so you can manage your operation. With over 20 years of experience, Ag Risk Advisors provide honest and transparent advice. They offer insurance solutions to help you minimize risk and maximize profitability on your farming and ranching operations. They might not be able to make it rain, but they can sure ease the pain. If you want to learn more about pasture, rangeland, forage insurance, go ahead and reach out to Ag Risk Advisors. They can help you understand what PRF insurance is all about and everything it can do for your operation. Drovers has reported during the month of October, pork exports were the largest that we've seen in 16 months, and beef exports continued on record pace, according to USMEF data. October beef exports totaled 125,466 metric tons, up 8% from a year ago. Export value was $929.8 million. That was actually down 3% from October of 2021. China and Hong Kong were the leading destinations of U.S. beef in October, with export value topping $240 million. So far this year, the U.S. has exported 2.99 billion pounds of beef. That's up 5.1% from last year. But if we're going to talk about exports, we're sure going to talk about beef imports. So far this year, the U.S. has imported 2.9 billion pounds of beef. That's up 4.5% from last year. So yes, there's all this hoopla around all these great beef exports. And yeah, it's good that we're exporting beef, but we are importing an incredible amount of beef. Beef exports, they're up 5.1%. Our imports are up 4.5%. So essentially, it's just a wash. The U.S. has imported the most beef from Canada so far this year, followed by Mexico and Brazil. Beef imports from Brazil continue to just be outrageous. They're up 57% year over year. Beef imports from Mexico, they're up 12%. And some other countries I want to touch on when it comes to increased beef imports. Argentina, our beef imports from them are up 26%. From the Netherlands, our imports are up 106%. And then from Lithuania, of all places, our beef imports are up 588%. Absolutely crazy. This update is also sponsored by Circle 5 Cow School. If you want to learn how to preg check your own cows or start AIing, Circle 5 Cow School is definitely the way to go. They're going to be hosting a school down in Patton, Missouri on December 30th and 31st. If you're in that area, I encourage you to check them out. And if you want to just check out their schedule, head on over to circle5cowschool.com. That's the number 5 in there. Or you can go ahead and just give them a follow on Facebook. According to Cowboy State Daily, last week, the Biden administration eased sanctions against oil-rich Venezuela, which will allow the Chevron oil company to increase production in the communist country. As you can expect, domestic oil producers aren't too happy with this decision. According to Ryan McConaughey, spokesperson for the Petroleum Association of Wyoming, this is another attempt by our administration to do everything they can other than support American energy workers. The administration could easily expand production and refining capacity here in the U.S., but they would rather go hat in hand to foreign adversaries in an effort to increase oil supplies. Our administration would rather go beg a corrupt communist country and ask them to increase their oil production rather than just do it here in America. When we have the capability to become energy independent, no. We would rather go to countries like Venezuela and ask them to help us out. So a quick walk down memory lane as to what Biden has done for our oil industry since he took office. Keep in mind, he has only been in office for 2 years, not that long, but he has sure done a lot of damage. When he was campaigning, we can all remember, he campaigned on the promise of he was going to end oil here in the U.S., and he is sure doing his darndest to get that done. When he took office, he canceled the Keystone XL pipeline, issued a moratorium on all oil and gas leasing in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, and revoked the Trump administration's executive orders that decreased regulations on federal land and expanded the ability to produce energy domestically. So everything that Trump did to help our oil industry and to help America become energy independent, Biden did away with that as soon as he got into the White House. In the first 19 months of his presidency, Biden issued the fewest leases on public lands for oil and gas development of any president since World War II. And most recently, to bring down gasoline prices ahead of the midterm elections, we can all remember this, our president issued releases from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which is now at its lowest level since the 1980s. As a result of this administration's anti-oil stance, investors aren't willing to invest in an industry that Biden has vowed to eliminate. Why would you ever do that? Of course. According to McConaughey, the Biden administration's actions don't make much sense, even from an environmentalist standpoint. The U.S., of course, we have much stricter environmental controls and can produce fossil fuel energy in a much cleaner and safer manner than places like Venezuela, according to McConaughey. Any argument claiming the administration is looking out for the environment by reducing production here in the U.S., but then goes to countries to ask for increased supplies where their environmental standards aren't as strict as ours is absolute nonsense. This update is also sponsored by Open Country LLC. Dan McMartin has Bunning 380 and 780 manure spreaders on his lot, along with a full line of livestock equipment manufacturers such as Filson, WW, Real Tough, Work Weld, and Gallagher. And keep in mind, all of his Gallagher products are 15% off. If you want to learn more, head on over to his website, www.opencountrylllc.com. Finally, Drovers has reported for the week ending December 3rd, so that would have been last week, average cattle feeding margins were estimated at $129 per head. That is actually $17 per head higher than the week before, according to the Sterling Beef Profit Tracker. Beef packer margins for the same week were estimated at a $73 per head loss, the largest per head loss for packers since February of 2015. Last year, during the same week, packers were making $378 per head. That is all I have for you guys today, and that is all I have for you guys this week. I hope you are all staying warm. Have yourself a wonderful weekend, and I will catch you on Monday morning.